really don't like Christmas music, I'll confess that to you, but that song, Come Thou Long and Expected Jesus, is one of my favorites, and I just saw that video today and thought it was great to, I guess, start December. Tomorrow starts December, and just to kind of remember, like, all of history has led up to this, Jesus' birth, and we get to celebrate it every year, and so, I thought that was cool. So, if you weren't here 2 weeks ago, we kind of talked about what these things on the wall, these what we call marks of a disciple, and kind of read like 1,000 scriptures, felt like. And but what we value really up here during this time is this. Number 3, student of the word, right? That we could get up here and I could say all kinds of stuff. I'm not very funny, so I wouldn't really get up here and tell jokes and like do a whole, like tell my best stories about high school and stuff. Like, that's just not me. But what I really want to do and what really is valuable for you is that we study the Bible. So that's why you may wonder, like, sometimes, like, why did he choose that? Well, I didn't really choose it. We're just studying the whole book. So we're just going through it chapter by chapter. And so we're going to pick up again tonight. If you got your Bible, Luke chapter 5. Luke chapter 5. And we'll start in verse 12 here in a sec. And tonight we're going to take on 2 stories, not just one. Sometimes we just do one story. Tonight, 2 stories. And he put them together for a reason, because it shows 2 different things about Jesus. It shows us that Jesus is powerful to heal physically, but more importantly, he can heal us spiritually. He can heal physical ailments. And so that's kind of why we started with prayer, right? We got kidney stones and broken legs and cancer and all sorts of things. And as Christians, we believe that Jesus can actually heal them, right? And so that's why we pray for that. If we didn't believe it, we wouldn't pray for it, right? But we believe he can heal us physically. But more importantly, he's going to show tonight that he can really fix what's really wrong with us on the inside, spiritually. So let's read it together. Luke chapter 5, verse 12. Start there. It says, in one of the villages, Jesus met a man with an advanced case of leprosy. Leprosy is a really bad skin disease. And when the man saw Jesus, he bowed with his face to the ground, begging to be healed. Lord, he said, if you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean. And so Jesus reached out and touched him. I am willing, he said, be healed. And instantly the leprosy disappeared. This is interesting. Then Jesus instructed him not to tell anyone what had happened. He said, go to the priest. Let him examine you. Take along the offering required in the law of Moses for those who've been healed of leprosy. And this will be a public testimony that you've been cleansed. 15. I love this. But despite Jesus' instructions, and his instructions were, don't tell anybody except for the priest. It says, the report of his power spread even faster. And vast crowds came to hear him preach and to be healed of their diseases. But Jesus often withdrew to the wilderness for prayer. 17, second story. One day, while Jesus was teaching, some Pharisees and teachers of religious law were sitting nearby. It seemed that these men showed up from every village in all Galilee and Judea, as well as from Jerusalem. And the Lord's healing power was strongly with Jesus. Some men came carrying a paralyzed man on a sleeping mat. They tried to take him inside to Jesus, but they couldn't reach him because of the crowd. So they went up to the roof and took off some of the tiles. Then they lowered the sick man on his mat down into the crowd, right in front of Jesus. And seeing their faith, Jesus said to the man, young man, not be healed. Young man, your sins are forgiven. But the Pharisees, these are the really religious men in the room, the Pharisees and the teachers of religious law said to themselves, they thought, who does he think he is? That's blasphemy. Only God can forgive sins. And Jesus knew what they were thinking. So he asked them, why do you question this in your heart? Is it easier for me to say your sins are forgiven or stand up and walk? What's easier? Your sins are forgiven, right? That's easy to say. It's much harder to say stand up and walk. to verse 24. So I will prove to you that the Son of Man has the authority on earth to forgive sins. Then Jesus turned to the paralyzed man and said, stand up, pick up your mat, and go home. And immediately, as everyone watched, the man jumped up, picked up his mat, and went home praising God. And everyone was gripped with great wonder and awe, and they praised God, exclaiming, we have seen amazing things today. Let me pray for us. God, I pray as we study your word, as we hear it, God, may we have faith in you that you can heal us, both physically, God, what is wrong with our bodies and our families. God, but more than that, you can heal us physically, God. If we don't, sometimes we may not even understand what's broken inside of us, what's missing, what's wrong with us, God. God, your word says that you can heal us spiritually, God, by giving us a relationship with you, God, by taking away our sin. God, I pray that they would have faith to not hear that and believe it and live their life like they believe that, God. Just be with us as we talk about it and study it for a second. I love you, but also something. Amen. All right, so first, what happened? Jesus, he's going to heal physically, right? He's got this guy. So he'd been going around lots of different villages. He didn't just stay in one place. He wasn't like, I live here, I work here, y'all come here, and I'm here. Jesus went around. He talked to all kinds of different people. And so he goes to these different villages, and he meets this man that day who had leprosy. Now, this is kind of rare, right? No doubt Jesus, at this point in his ministry, had probably encountered lots of people with leprosy. So leprosy is this really violent skin disease. Don't think like, I got a little rash on my arm from poison ivy. Think skin cracking, blood and pus and oozing and unable to move because it hurts. Like, we're talking spreading violently all throughout your body, like bad, right? And it's very contagious. And so what happens was this: it's not only painful, it's not only, just annoying, right? But you can't be around anybody else because no one can touch you, and you can't touch them, and you can't touch things that other people are touching. You can't sit on that couch because then someone else is going to sit on the couch and they're going to have leprosy, and before you know it, we're all one big pus ball, right? But so anybody who had leprosy was completely isolated, right? They had to go live outside of the city in the wilderness. They had to get a trailer down by the river and live by themselves. They didn't have contact with anybody. They're completely isolated. If you're very social in the room, that's torment, right? To have to be by yourself. And this man, for whatever reason, that day was in town, probably not really where he was supposed to be. And this man met Jesus, or really we should say this: Jesus met this man. And so this man, what was his reaction when he saw Jesus? You remember? What did he do? What did he do? It says he fell down on his face and what? It says he begged him. In mine, it says he asked him, he begged him, will you heal me? If you want to, I know you can. Like, how did he know who Jesus was? How did he know? Stories. He had heard stories, right? Other people had shared, right? Other people had been a witness to what Jesus could do, right? And so he hears Jesus can heal me. So he asked him, and Jesus does the most unthinkable thing you could do to a leper. If you saw a leper, it's literally like shun the leper. Stay away. Definitely don't touch. And Jesus reaches out. What does he do? He touches the untouchable. He touches this man because he believes that he can heal him. And what happened? It says immediately the man was healed, right? He was healed immediately. But think about it. It's not just all of a sudden his skin was like smooth and nice, and he had nice lotions and all this stuff. Like, no, yes, that was part of it. He was healed physically, but he had kind of a new life. He could come back, he could work, he could live in the city, he could be around other people. And so in a way, Jesus had taken him from being completely dead and away from everyone. He'd given him a new life, right? He had healed him physically. and even more than that. And so what did Jesus tell the leper to do? What did he tell him not to do, actually? He said, don't go tell everybody. Somebody raise your hand and tell me, why would Jesus say that? That seems like backwards, right? He said, don't go tell everybody what I just did. Kylie, what do you think? Okay, maybe he doesn't want him to boast about somebody else. Cecil.
He doesn't want everybody running around asking him for everything.
Maybe he's tired of healing people. I think Jesus was very compassionate, so I don't. Dawson, what do you think?
Maybe they didn't want it to spread out and go heal everyone.
Yeah. I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know the answer to that question. But for whatever reason, Jesus says, don't do this. Don't go around. Don't go tell everybody. I want you to go to the priest. He basically is saying this. I want you to go live your normal life. Go live your normal life. But it says the man did the exact opposite, right? Jesus is trying to rein it in and say, no, just keep it right here. But what happened? And he told everybody, right? I mean, because think about this. They knew, and I don't recognize that guy. I've seen somebody like that, but he was a leper. This guy is clean. This guy is here with us. He became a witness, right? Just like every disciple, he became a witness. He went and he just simply told. I mean, he couldn't help it. Everybody noticed it. Everybody could see it in his life. Man, I'm changed. I'm different. And that's what disciples do. They're witnesses. And then it says that Jesus, I think, like Cecil said, he's tired, right? He's whatever. And so it says he went through to the wilderness to go pray. Again, devoted to prayer. So Jesus can heal physically. But let's read the second story. I think that's more important for us. I guess I would just say, like, if there's something in your family, if there's a disease, if there's sickness, if there's whatever, like, God can heal that. He can heal it like that. He can heal it with medicine. He can heal it with whatever. And he may not. He may. But he can. And so pray for that. Second, Jesus can heal spiritually. So not too long after this, we don't really know how long, but Jesus finds himself, he's come out of the wilderness. He's been isolated. He's been praying. He comes back into town. He's in this house, it says. He's in this house, and it says that all these people had come from afar to hear him. Y'all all came from like 2109 and 103 and different places to hear. I don't know why you came. I probably came for free pizza or something. But these guys came to hear Jesus. They knew he's going to be in this town. They figured out, where is he? He's in this house. So this house is overloaded with people just trying to get close. Some of them just want to be healed. Some of them want to hear what Jesus has to say. They're learners, they're seekers. They want to know Jesus. So Jesus is in there, right? And it says all of a sudden there was this group of friends. This group of friends, and they knew that Jesus could heal. They had heard about what he had done to the leper. They knew what he had done to all these different people, all these stories. So they said, you know what, we're going to go grab our friend and we're going to bring him to Jesus. So they go get him. He's completely paralyzed. We don't really know how long he's been paralyzed. Most likely, they would have believed, he probably would have been paralyzed for a long time at this point. He would have been there, and they literally would have tried everything. And this was kind of a last-ditch effort. And so they bring him, and they get to the house, but there's all these religious people, there's just overrun with people. And they get there, and it's like, this isn't going to work. Now, I'm kind of like this in life, whether it's a roller coaster or a concert or waiting to get into a restaurant or whatever. If I get there and there's more than a 10-minute wait, I'm thinking, I ain't got time for that. I'm going somewhere else. I got better things to do with my time. And these friends that day could have very well thought that. They could have got to the house and been like, you know what? Sorry, man, we tried. It's here, but we're never going to get in. But I'm sure there was one that day at least. And maybe some of you were this hard-headed. I have to believe that about some of you. Said, no. I gotta wait. Let me get in there. So they go up. There's stairs on the side of these houses. And they're kind of square, flat top, made of clay, dirt type stuff. There's layers on the top. They climb up the stairs. They drag their paralyzed buddy up there, and they start digging through the roof. They start pulling back the layers, the tiles, and the hay, and the mud. I'm sure that they're chipping away, and somehow they get a big enough hole. I mean, it would have taken some time. I'm sure the people inside are thinking, what is happening, right? You're hearing all this. Imagine somebody just coming through the roof up there. Like, it would be weird, right? And just sitting right here, just dropping down. I guess I'd try to heal him or something. I don't know what I'd do. This guy, it comes through the roof. And he gets at Jesus' feet. And what is it? Do you remember it? It's verse. What is the first thing Jesus said to him? What does he say to him? He doesn't ask, how long have you been paralyzed, bro? He doesn't go, man, what happened to you? Did you fall off a temple or something? What is this? Like, can you feel this? Like, Jesus doesn't ask him any of that. Right? What does he say? It's verse 20, verse 20. Verse 20. Jen, you put it up? It says, seeing their faith. He's talking about the friends that are up there through the roof that he can see. So seeing their faith, and this man sitting there, he looks at him and says, young man, your sins are forgiven. And I don't know, think about it from their perspective. If you're there that day and you're like, Jesus, you kind of missed the big point. He's laying here, you can't move. Don't you see? You can't move. You think we brought him here so his sins will be forgiven? I think they're probably thinking, heal the dude, right? And Jesus, there's something so obviously wrong with him, like fix him. We know you can do it. But Jesus looks at him and he says, son, you're forgiven, your sins are forgiven. Now, these religious people that are there, they think that they know better. So they kind of, maybe you're sitting there thinking weird thoughts come out too. I can't read your mind. But that day, Jesus could read their mind. He knew what they were thinking. He knew, and this is what they were saying. I'll read it. 21. But the Pharisees and the teachers of religious law said to themselves, who does he think he is? That's blasphemy. That's shaming God. That's just terrible. Only God can forgive sins. Does he think he's God? I mean, they're literally saying, who does this guy think he is? And Jesus, he knows their thoughts. And he asks them this question, what's easier? I can stand up here all day, me, Byron Smith, and say, Dylan Willis, your sins are forgiven. But I have zero power to carry that out. I can say it, whether it's true, I don't know. But if I were to, you're not sick, that's a bad example. But Jesus says, what's easier? To say your sins are forgiven or to tell him to get up and walk? What's easier? Yeah, anybody can say your sins are forgiven. But he says, I want to prove it to you. I want to prove it to you that I can say that and mean it. So it says, he looked at the young man, verse 24. So I will prove to you that the Son of Man has the authority on earth to forgive sins. Jesus turned to the paralyzed man and said, stand up, pick up your mat, and go home. I mean, imagine the silence right after that, right? Because everybody's going, okay, this magician, is it really going to work? Is it really going to happen? But he paused. The dude starts to move his hands, he jumps up. He doesn't just, I haven't moved that one in a while. No, it says he jumps up, picked up his mat, and he went home praising God, being a witness to what God has just done. Everyone there, blown away. No, if you were there that day, you can remember certain nights up here where something silly happened, like somebody threw up or somebody, did something dumb on stage or I said something that really impacted you. You can remember certain things. The people there that day didn't forget that day, I guarantee you. They didn't forget the day that Jesus healed that man and roasted the Pharisees, right? He said, you don't know what you're talking about. I can forgive sins, and I can heal anything. See, Jesus is powerful to heal physically, but more importantly, spiritually. There's all different ways we can apply this. Let's think about each character of the story, okay? Just real quick, and then we'll worship together. Let's think about the paralyzed man. What was his life like up to this point? He's laying on a mat. He's completely dependent on others. Has no hope, really. He's going to live the rest of his life paralyzed, and one day he's going to get a sickness and he's going to die. His life is bleak at best. And his friends, that day demonstrate a kind of love that no one had ever done for him. They take him to be healed physically, but more than that, spiritually. Like his life was forever changed after that day. We call that in our lives as Christians a genuine experience of salvation. There was a day, there was a moment, there was a season where God came and you were healed. Like he forgave your sins and you placed all of your faith in him. You said, I can't do this anymore, God, but I want a relationship with you. Like every disciple has had a genuine experience of salvation. This guy that day was never the same. And when you've had a genuine experience of salvation, realizing how much God loves you, you're never the same. You're never the same after that. What about Jesus? Think about Jesus in this. We all want to be like him, and it's kind of impossible in some ways. But Jesus was devoted to prayer, right? That's something that we can be challenged with tonight from this story, that even in the midst of all of his activity, he's doing all kinds of good stuff, but he needed to withdraw from everyone else. He needed to step back and spend time in prayer with the Father. And he's the Son of God, and he needs to pray. How much more do we? What about the leper, the guy with the skin disease at the beginning? What can we learn from him? Man, we want to be a witness like him, right? When he was healed, even though they told him don't say anything, he couldn't help but shout it to the world. He couldn't help but tell his friends. And they couldn't help but see it in his life. They couldn't help but see how much he had changed. And that drew so many more people to Jesus. Like, are we doing that with our lives? Are we being a witness where God has placed us? On the teams we're on in the clubs that we're in the families and the friend circles that we are? Are we being a witness to what God has done? Can those people see what God has done in your life? And we got to be a witness. And then I think, for me, the one that hits home is the friends. Think about the friends of this paralyzed man. I think the one that they demonstrate the most is demonstrates love. Those guys that day, they'd probably been friends with him his whole life. They knew him. But for some reason that day, they acted on it. I kind of talked about this 2 weeks ago. I love my wife. She is great. She's not here tonight. I love my wife. She's awesome. And nothing's changed in my heart about her, but I do not always express that. I don't always demonstrate that in ways that Maddie loves words of affirmation. Like if I would write Maddie a 4-word letter, she would be, oh, right? I mean, she would just fall, right? But I can do all the dishes that I ever wanted to do. All the dishes, I could clean the house, I could build her stuff. 4 words would mean more to her than all that other stuff. So I had to demonstrate love to my wife in a way that she receives, right? It means I can't just feel it. I can't just have I love you, babe. I can't, no, I have to do it. I have to show her that I love her every day. Those guys that day demonstrated love to that friend like they had never. They loved him the whole time. But that day they got to demonstrate it. Let me pray for us and then we're going to worship together. As we talk about each of those characters, different aspects of being a disciple, being a student of the Word, being devoted to prayer, demonstrating love, being a giver, being a witness, all these sorts of things. Like, God has put one of those, God has put a couple of those and challenged you to act on it. You're like, man, I need to demonstrate love to my mom. I need to demonstrate love to my friend. I need to be a witness to this person. Be obedient to that. When God tells you to do it, do it. So y'all stand when you pray for us, and if you're in the band, y'all come up. Like always in worship, this is, we don't just sing songs because it's, I don't know, whatever reason, because we like music. We sing songs because we're praising God for who He is. We're telling God how thankful we are for what He's done for us. So that's what this is about. If you don't sing, that's okay. Listen to the words. Think about who God is, what He's done for you. If you need to sit and pray, if you need to go to the back and Pray with one of your friends. If you need to, whatever, raise your hands, put them in your pocket. I don't care. That's not the important thing. The important thing is that your mind and your heart are set on God. So will you pray for us? And we'll worship together. God, we love you. We thank you for tonight. We thank you that you are powerful enough. Nothing can stop you. And you can heal every physical disease, God. But more than that, God, you can heal even the most broken of sinners, like myself, God. God, you can save the most worthless of us all, like me, God. And I pray that you would do that for these students in here that have never experienced that, God. May these students grow as disciples, grow in their love for your word, grow as witnesses, grow as demonstrating love, all these things, God. May they love you and live that out every day of their life, God. We love you and we worship you. We pray all this in your son's name.